Broadcasting from Boston, Massachusetts, the Smart Cities podcast is the only podcast dedicated to all things smart cities. The podcast is the creation of ARC Advisory Group's Smart City practice. ARC advises leading companies, municipalities, and governments on technology trends and market dynamics that affect their business and quality of life in their cities. To engage further, please like and share our podcast or reach out directly on Twitter at Smart City Viewpoints or on our website at www.arcweb.com/industries/smart-cities.
Welcome again to another episode of the Smart City podcast. Today, I'm very happy to be joined by my colleague and friend, Peter Manos. Peter, how are you today?
Very well, Jim. How are you doing?
Hey, great to see you again. We're here at the 27th Annual ARC Forum, Industry Forum. And Peter, let me just jump right in and ask you, what's your perception of our forum this year?
It's the energy level and the exchange of valuable ideas has just been thrilling. And, the fact is that the solution providers have great visions and great capabilities, and they're delivering value. And yet there's also a set of challenges that the end user communities are trying to meet. And there's always going to be a gap between where we are and where we want to get to as far as being a solution provider and leveraging all the value among the user community. So keeping it real is just such a great theme in the sessions that I was in, both the ones that I conducted as well as ones I attended from other ARC analysts.
Hey, let's drill down into that in a little more detail. What sessions did you like? Which ones stand out in your mind this year?
Well, my Get Ready for Sustainability reporting session was a lot of valuable information and a lot of fun. And my second session, which was on analytics and asset performance, very animated Q&A after some great presentations from the end users. And also the sessions I sat in on, Rick Riss had sessions on decarbonization, both of the electric sector and of oil and gas. And it was a tough topic that Rick took on. And it was just very high quality attendees in there for addressing and sharing ideas about some tough issues on that path. So I think a theme across those and other sessions for me is that the ideals of digital transformation, of arriving at those future decarbonization goals and net zero goals and circular economy goals, those are ideals. And like all human activity, we're imperfectly trying to reach that ideal. The drive to not give up and to surmount gaps is energizing. And we never know how we get from here to there. It always seems impossible, right, Jim? I mean, but we get there as human beings, right? And the other theme, the good old threefold: technology, people, process. I saw those in balance and weaving together in ways that were just beautiful. I mean, it's inspiring and also energizing, as I said, to say, how are we going to meet these challenges? That famous saying, it always seems impossible until it's done. That's what lies before us. And I think the community we've built here and are growing here is helping to address that.
I agree. From my perspective, one of the sessions that really resonated with me was one on electric vehicles. And more generally, it really was about electrification. And we had speakers from such a variety of different viewpoints. One, Milton Kramer, spoke about port electrification of all of the forklifts and the little vehicles that move containers around the port, about the electrification of shoreside power for the ships themselves, about electric tugboats, for example, electrification of the reefers themselves that house our refrigerated produce that may come from other places. We had a great speaker, Curtis Ostrodka from VHB Engineering, who talked about the federal funding programs, how to get the funding, and and how to manage that with the requirements of serving underutilized, economically challenged communities with electric vehicle chargers, for example. We had Alejandro Bergana from OBE Power, who spoke about his network, the second largest network of EV chargers in Florida after Tesla, that frankly offer a cost solution that's far below the cost of any other provider in terms of cents per kilowatt hour. And last but not least, we had a tremendous speaker, Glenn Cook, who covered a range of different, very exciting initiatives in Central Florida about autonomous vehicles, vehicle electrification, and actually the developing hub of technology in the Lake Nona area. That session was just incredibly insightful, and even as the moderator of that session, I learned an awful lot from every single speaker. That was a good one. It probably was, it was great. The other that really resonates with me was a more general session on sustainability, resilience, and the energy transition. And it was a first in the ARC forum history, as I understand, that we had 4 speakers, all of which were women.
I attended that session, Jim, and I was very inspired by the range there of capabilities, helicopter and drone inspections from one of the presenters, the other presenter on modeling and better enabling municipalities to manage floodplain and water infrastructure, and the other 2 presenters as well. So I think a theme in the EV and in those areas and in the areas that I presented and also other sessions I attended, a theme is like the fact that the data that is going to be and is feeding the advanced analytics and machine learning and other industrial automation, digital transformation capabilities, that data is so critical, and along with it, the ability to enable end users to visualize and use the insights from those tools. And a word that came up in a presentation from Malik Patel of Dow with my analytics and asset performance management session was the word was intuition. You're making something intuitive for the end users. And you realize that it's not just about having a capability to crunch numbers and get an insight, because in the past you might have been using Excel or querying a database and it was slow. And the minutes or even anything that wasn't immediate, it doesn't feed a human being's intuition. But now with these visualization tools, that immediacy, that intuition is becoming an extension of our senses, right? It's becoming an extension of our innate ability to gain insights. And that's just thrilling to me.
Peter, let me ask you, is there one particular speaker that stands out, or a message that stands out from a particular speaker?
Well, the combination of Malik Patel's presentation from Dow at that session and Bill Olson of a company, First Transit, which is the largest, it's a company that has the largest install base of airport ground transportation and school system fleet management. They do the maintenance management for 70,000 customers in North America. This First Transit subsidiary of First Group. Bill Olson presented on the path of the 2,800 maintenance workers at that organization and the bottom-up evolution of their enterprise asset management and asset performance management capabilities. And it was just amazing. Like when he talked about how the maintenance workers really embraced having an iPad and having the live capability to be in front of an asset that they were about to work on and hit a button which would automatically generate a help request and be routed in real time to a subject matter expert remotely who would come in on a video feed. And that worker on site and the remote person could mutually put red line circles on that live image of the asset they were working on and talk it through. And that to me, and related things from the other presenters at that session and from the Q&A, it was all around those workflows, bottom up, getting the executive buy-in too, but the bottom up aspect was very exciting. And also the fact that not only is it enabling these great workflows in the current situation, but it's feeding into a system that will codify that knowledge and make it a tribal knowledge of the organization, so that the folks who are retiring, the brain drain we always talk about, can capture that knowledge can be captured, and new learning tools with augmented reality and other capabilities will enable the next generation of employees, workers, managers to benefit from that. So
for me, there were so many great nuggets in the press release room, where there's a series of press releases every half an hour. There was some great breaking news there. The executive interviews yielded an awful lot of fascinating information. So I'm a bit reticent to call out any one speaker, but I will. And I particularly was enthused by the conversations I had with Steve Pullins of Alpha Structure. Alpha Structure is a collaboration of Schneider Electric and Carlyle Group, Carlyle Capital, to provide large energy as a service projects. They're doing some work, I know, at JFK Airport, up in Queens, and many other projects. But his insight and perspective really was inspiring to me, and I had some great conversations with him privately, as well as enjoyed his presentations. The other thought that I have about the ARC Forum is that this year we have had it's almost a rebirth, where we have seen far more diverse people here, females, young professionals.
Younger crowd, yeah.
In fact, in our sustainability session, there not only was it an all-female panel, but two of those speakers were early career folks, and to be honest, they offered some incredible content and almost ran away with the Q&A session. I know that our colleague Luke Martin is our de facto leader of our Emerging Professionals, Advancing Professionals effort. And if there are any young professionals listening to this, I would urge you to reach out to him, and he can provide you the details about the mentoring program and about some of the other initiatives that they are spearheading.
I'll say, Jim, one of your presenters on the 4 female panelist session, I was really surprised chatting with her afterward when she said that it was her first time ever giving a presentation at a conference, because she was just smooth as could be and compelling. And so if anyone's out there is thinking, I'm too shy, or I don't know if I would be convincing, who's in that demographic in terms of age, don't let that hold you back, because, boy, you guys are good. Guys and everyone. I mean, gender non-specific. You folks are good.
Agreed.
Yes.
Well, once again, that's our wrap-up of the 27th Annual ARC Forum. We look forward to seeing you online in our various properties, the Smart City Podcast, Digital Transformation Podcast, our white papers, website, on social media. And we hope to see you again a year from now at the 28th Annual ARC Conference back here in Orlando, Florida.
Very much.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Broadcasting from Boston, Massachusetts, the Smart Cities podcast is the only podcast dedicated to all things smart cities. The podcast is the creation of ARC Advisory Group's Smart City practice. ARC advises leading companies, municipalities, and governments on technology trends and market dynamics that affect their business and quality of life in their cities. To engage further, please like and share our podcast, or reach out directly on Twitter at Smart City Viewpoints, or on our website at www.arcweb.com/industries/smart-cities.